before you spend another $200 on an online Spanish course, please watch this video so I can save you some money. 2 years ago, I had absolutely no idea how somebody learns a language. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and all of my previous languages, English, Cantonese, Chinese, Urdu, were all taught to me. And I thought language learning meant memorizing endless vocabulary, grammar rules, and everything else. And I thought with the background that I have, I would never be able to learn the European languages. Over here, people in Europe are so multilingual. They speak multiple different languages. And that's the first thing I noticed when I came here. And I thought my background languages have nothing to do with these. I will never be able to learn. But I was so wrong. In 6 months, I was able to have conversations in Spanish with other people and also understand native content in YouTube. In this video, I will break down what exactly is the language transfer method and how you can immediately use it for you to be able to start your language learning journey, especially if you want to learn Spanish. Language transfer method is an audio language learning program that's created by a creator whose name I will not even attempt to pronounce because I will butcher it. It is a completely free, accessible, audio-based program that allows you to not only learn the language, but understand the language. And it works in the following way. You take what you already know, the language that you already know, and most of us, I'm assuming it's English, and that try to dissect the target language by what you already know. So instead of trying to memorize new vocab, new grammatical rules in the target language, you try to take what you already know and dissect what could be in the target language. Let me give you an example. So in English, we have lots of words that end with ion. For instance, organization, preparation, separation. Lots of these words are actually the same in Spanish, but just pronounced differently. For instance, organización, creación, separación. Then the creator teaches you that if you just take away the ion and just add AR, you get the different verbs in Spanish, like organizar, preparar, crear. And at that moment, you realize that you actually know a lot of different words in Spanish. You just don't know how to pronounce them in Spanish. And for those words that you don't know, there are ways that you can try to dissect based off of what you already know. So it tries to form connections between your previous language to the new language so that when you think of the new language, you're not actively memorizing, but rather connecting with your previous language and trying to dissect from what you already know. And I think that's a wonderful way to be more fluid in the target language rather than forcing yourself to memorize in this new language again and again, which makes you a little bit slower in the target language. Instead of memorization, it teaches you patterns of where you should be looking for the target grammatical, for the target rule, or for the target vocab. I remember I just watched some of these lessons, and these are so bite-sized. These are just 6 to 10 minutes. And I remember learning this rule of separación, separar. And I went into a kebab shop and I wanted to say, can you separate? And I said, I didn't actually have to think about what it was. I literally just did the mental mathematics and I was like, puede separar? And it was the first time that I realized that I'm actually saying a sentence or like a phrase in Spanish when I didn't even know how to say hi and bye and the basic things in Spanish. I was super disconnected from the language, but I was instructing somebody at a kebab shop about what I wanted. And I thought, wow, okay, didn't even have to have a lot of mental effort to be able to do this. And that's when I started to really notice the difference in the way I was processing the target language using this method. And that's why this method is so powerful. It's not a method where it's not a course where you do a 40-minute video and then you do some fill in the blanks, some multiple choices, some exercises, and then you forget about it the next day. But rather, these are bite-sized lessons that are available YouTube and also in platform that you walk along with. You don't just sit there and just consume. You are an active participant in these audios, and these are designed in a way that makes you think. You don't need anything else besides your ears, your brain, and your active participation and the audios. The creator actually discourages you from writing down any notes or from making any notes because the main point of it is to be able to use your brain to be able to do the thinking. Language is working in the brain always. When you speak with people, you're not writing down notes, you're not writing what they said to be able to formulate the response. It happens automatically, and you need to be training your brain to be able to do that. And this method allows you to form that base at the initial stages so that you can then use it and consolidate it later on. And don't be fooled by the short 6 to 10 minute videos, because I promise you they are so dense. They're filled with knowledge, and not just knowledge about how you can make these connections and patterns, but also linguistic knowledge that makes you really appreciate the language and makes you learn more about the culture around the language as well. So therefore, I would highly recommend. And the best part is that it's free. There is no premium version in the app. The videos are available on YouTube. The audio is available on YouTube. You don't have to pay extra for it. The creator actually works on donations. So if you want to support his work, feel free to donate. It is a completely accessible introductory course for everyone that wants to be able to understand the language and start learning it. But having said that, it's not a course that's going to make you fluent. No course is, period. You won't take a course in a language and then after finishing that course, you can say you're fluent in that language, because understanding is one thing and applying it is another. And whenever it comes to learning languages, it needs to be reinforced with multiple different content, with multiple different input, and then also producing the language and getting feedback on it to be able to get that level of fluency. It teaches you the foundation, but there are no accompanying visuals, exercises that you can do after your lessons are over. So it's really up to you and your active participation in this audio to learn the foundation of the language. But it is an excellent way for you to develop the foundation and then add on later with other different contents and with other different language helping resources. The right way to use this is to use it as a starting point. If you want to learn Spanish and you're stuck with the numerous resources that are available online, I would highly recommend you to just cancel off that noise and go and listen to these audios. And that's how you can really start to develop your base. And then you can add other resources that you find helpful online or that fit to you. I really hope that this helped for those of you that feel stuck right now. If you feel like learning Spanish, if you feel like learning a language, I would highly recommend to visit his website, his app, or his audios and see if you like them, see if they work with your style. For me personally, they helped me a lot, so I really hope that they also help you. If you have any further questions, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.